Well, hello and welcome. My name is Velma. You can connect with me at velmanolds.com. This is all about your leadership chat. What does that mean? You get to listen in on valuable insights from valuable leaders just like you. I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe so that you never miss another episode. And if this is of value to you, please share the nuggets that you're going to take away from all these great leaders. Hey, please give a big welcome to my special guest and your valuable leader, Kristi Hoskinson. Hey, Kristi, welcome to your leadership chat.
Hi, Velma. Such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, cool. Hey, so love your background. Show us the water again. You're like holding water in your hand. How do you?
Yes, I have a sprout of water coming out from our fountain. Here you go. Catching it in the palm of my hand.
Beautiful. I love it. You are so much fun. That is too good. Well, hey, thank you again so much for being on your leadership chat. I want to kick things off. And the first thing I'd love to do is just ask you to share a little bit about you and what you do.
Oh, thank you, Velma. I always tell people, especially at this stage in my career where I feel like I'm heading into the back nine, to use a golf analogy, because I love to golf. I'm a professional nomad. And while on the surface that might sound scary, I have decided that I have not figured out who I want to be when I grow up. I have been in the workforce since I was 15 years old. Somehow, maybe it's naturally in my DNA, I've always gravitated to leadership positions. What allowed me to come from Canada, where I'm from, over to the United States was an incredible opportunity in family entertainment. And that is specifically with Disney on Ice, Feld Entertainment, right here in Ellenton, Florida. And for the first 5 years of my career, I was traveling the world. I had the opportunity initially to be a cast member, and then I was promoted to performance director, and just really appreciated working with a multi-ethnic cast and crew. Traveling the world just exposed you to different cultures. So what a great jumpstart to my career. And then I ended up weaving my way into actually county government. And that opened up conversations with Dr. Holbrook here at USF Sarasota Manatee. We had been in touch for years, actually, through my connections with risk management and insurance. And we're at a point here at USF Sarasota Manatee with so much growth just around the corner. As Assistant Vice President for Strategy and Campus Initiatives, which is the role I'm in today, so proud to be Go Bulls, right? And supporting the growth that's coming down the pike, especially for the Sarasota Manatee campus. So that kind of brings it full circle as to who I am and the different nomadic experiences I've had in different jobs. But ultimately, it came down to, when I really look back, serving as a leader, and that is, I know, why we're here today. So many lessons learned, and I'm excited to share a bit more about that.
Okay, but from Canada, right?
Yes.
Wow, I did not know that about you.
Yes, my accent does not come out a whole lot anymore, but every once in a while you'll hear it. I promise you.
Where in Canada were you originally from?
Yeah, I grew up in the nation's capital, Ottawa, Ontario. My family's all there in Ottawa and Toronto mostly. I have a sibling and some family members out in Vancouver and some in Montreal as well.
Wow. Okay. So we have someone from Canada originally, and we got the Bahamas here. So we are just multinational. And for those that are listening in, USF, the campus that Kristi's talking about, is the University of South Florida, which is a huge, impactful university here in the Tampa Bay, now Sarasota, Manatee. It's just booming. Just an awesome university and educational system for us. So, wow, congratulations on such a cool journey. I mean, it's been an adventure. You are so full of adventure here. I love it. Well, all of that to bring you to where you are today. And so, it didn't happen just by chance. I'm a true believer that we are who we are today because there is someone, or more than one individual, that has really made an impact in our life. And I call that person the valuable leader. And so for Kristi, could you share with us, like, who would you say is a valuable leader in your life? And why would you say that?
Such a great question, Velma. I'm going to be honest with you. This was a keep me up at question night. And I know you don't want to hear that because you wouldn't want to have inserted any stress for me with this chat that we're having today. Boy, did it get me thinking, because I have really a roster of leaders, of people in my life over the course of this amazing career journey I've had.
Right.
I will drill down to one individual and definitely make comments on that. One person that definitely surfaced to the top of my valuable leader roster is a woman right here in our community. And those who are familiar with Sarasota Manatee and really beyond will probably know the name. And that individual is Lisa Krause.
Mm.
I had the pleasure of working with Lisa for my 5 years at FCCI Insurance. And I can tell you the trajectory I took with her absolutely shaped me into the leader I am today, and still more to come. Right, always a
Right.
student of leadership, always learning. Lisa to me epitomized, and I didn't even know necessarily what a valuable leader would be in my mind, but as I observed her and I took notes and I knew how she treated me, it quickly became evident under her tutelage that this was someone I would strive to be.
Oh, wow.
One of the things that I would appreciate, or would say I appreciate the most about Lisa, is she pushed me.
Mm-hmm.
What I appreciate about that was I'm an achiever, and she knew that right away. She knew that I'm a former athlete, that excellence was not enough. It wasn't necessarily had to be perfect, but she definitely pushed me and challenged me. And not a lot of people do that in the workplace. And so what that did for me, it was grow a certain amount of tenaciousness, a certain amount of resiliency, a certain amount of how can we kind of up it even more, and to deliver a product of excellence and exceed customers' expectations. I appreciated her own humility. Lisa, for me, was one who modeled, if I screwed up, or I need to own this, I'm going to own it, and I'm going to make it right, and I'm going to make it whole. Yeah. And that's something too I really appreciated, was that humility piece every day. Additionally, Lisa spoke so well of people. It's easy in the workplace, and it's sometimes even, it's a slippery slope, right? Where maybe we're forming judgment, or we're starting to feel a little bit tension or rub with a coworker or a manager. And before you know it, you're having that water cooler conversation and maybe not saying the most positive about a coworker. And we've done it. It's just, we're frustrated. With Lisa, I will tell you, I never heard anything out of her mouth that wasn't positive, uplifting, supportive, pure. And to be around that, that energy field, if you will, really helped remind me we're all in this together. We're all going to make mistakes, right? But we're ultimately all mission focused on what it is we're here to do. Yeah. I can go on and on, but the modeling of the very behavior you read about in books, you hear about on leadership chats, to see it in action and to see it in person, by no means. And if Lisa were in on this chat with us, no one's perfect. Right. But what I appreciated is her ability to acknowledge if there was a mistake and it needed to be owned, let's make it whole. And let's make it right. And that is something I know I try to do today, because as I was sharing with you pre-chat, Velma, I have made my share of mistakes, and I've learned through the school of hard knocks, right? How to rectify them. But that's taken me some time to do that. And I've appreciated her modeling those attributes that I know I appreciate in leadership.
Wow. Wow. What a fascinating story. And if Lisa was here, you're exactly right. Just from the things that you said, that her character, more than anyone would think about, she probably would be so humble to have you say those things. And even though she's doing them every day, and I don't think it's not without intention, because it's hard work. It's like, I don't know anybody that doesn't work with someone that's going to kind of be different, and you're like, oh man, they're different, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. It's just they're different, and that takes a lot of maturity and self-awareness. So it sounds like she's very self-aware.
Very much. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention her ability to set the vision.
Oh wow, yes.
Every week I'd come in, I'd look at my calendar when I saw my one-on-one time with her, which was weekly, no matter how busy her schedule got as an executive of a company. I knew I was going to leave that meeting charged and inspired.
Right.
Her ability to inspire vision and then empower you as a teammate to go out
Right.
and create that strategy at the tactical level and operationalize the plan.
Yes.
She does that exquisitely. And I think that's why she's been so successful in her current role at the EDC of Sarasota. Just an incredible leadership skill. I'm sure that she's honed over time.
Yeah, no, and I always say leadership is an inside job, and leadership is a continuous journey of self-development and self-learning. You just have to learn. This One of the things I do every morning, spend time meditating and reading the Bible and really trying to just level set myself so that I'm doing the work that we are called and designed to do. And one of the things that comes up is the fact that we are constantly growing and developing, and you need to have that mindset of a learning environment, and don't let just weeds take over. Get the weeds out, and then really plant the right kinds of seeds. And so that's what we're doing with your leadership chat. We're planting seeds to really impact people, and the existing generation, and then the emerging leaders that are coming up, to really think about how can you add value to someone's life, and how can you recognize someone that's adding value to yours. So
Yes.
good
Yes.
job there. Look at you, number one down.
Thank you. Whew,
I know, right?
okay. And that
Up
the
at
rest,
night. I feel
I'm
bad.
not going to be kept up at night. Other leaders in my life, they know who they are. But thank you for pressing that question and selecting one. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, and we can talk about so many others, and please know that I will have you back, because I'd love to learn more. And if you'd love to come back, we'd love to have you on another season. Let me ask you the second side to that coin on that question. So, when we know and we learn and we grow from someone that helps us to shape us and impact us into who we are today, the real sign of growth is, how do you take what you now know and apply it and pay it forward? So how does Kristi impact other individuals in her life to help them to strive to be a valuable leader?
That's a great question. I had a specific small group that came to my mind initially when I did actually get to see this question ahead of time, full disclosure, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of a couple of young professionals coming into my life through different circumstances, that while initially maybe the relationship looked like a mentor-mentee, and it certainly did, it has evolved. Both of them actually have evolved into beautiful friendships. Yet I know every time I meet with these young ladies, they don't even know of each other. They're both in this community. They are my pay it forward types of conversations, and they're organic. There's no agenda when we meet. We just talk. We talk everything, Velma, from what's going on in personal lives all the way over to professional and everything in between, because they're all blended.
Right.
And I feel like in those moments when I have that precious time with my former mentees, now friends, I do have an opportunity to share some of my experiences and to calibrate them with what they're going through, and to bring hopefully some context. And I do hear from them that my perspective is very helpful. I have, again, personal and professional stories that have aligned with some of the things they're going through. And I do think they're helpful. Obviously, they make the decisions as young adults, but I do know I'm bringing some helpful perspective as they continue to tell me in what they're going through. Paying it forward is also with the teams I've had a chance to lead, as I'm continuing to grow and evolve as a leader from the time I was 15 years old and I had my first supervisory position. Sometimes when I look back, I'm like, oh gosh, I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe I said that. And then of course, there's other times where I have felt very proud that the moments where I have led a team or led an initiative or led a project, because remember too, leading isn't always necessarily being a leader by job title, as you know that, right? It's sometimes leading an initiative or a project. And when I have exemplified patience, when I have asked the room, team, what else? What am I not thinking about, right? As the ultimate person accountable for this initiative or project, what am I missing? When I've really leaned into the how can you help me so that we are successful model?
Right,
I
right.
feel by modeling that, that I'm helping others who are maybe thinking about moving into a leadership role. They're seeing this very collaborative tone
Hmm.
and very curious tone that I bring to meetings that I facilitate. Anyone coming to a meeting for me is going to have an agenda, right? We're going to have a purpose to why we're
Right,
gathering. We're
right.
going to probably even know what problem we're trying to solve. And so when I think about paying it forward, I'd like to think that just in the day to day of being a strong leader, that those attributes and those qualities are in fact maybe through osmosis, but they're being observed
Right, yeah,
and helping people in that way. So that was sort of a two-part answer. I do have
no,
two special ladies in my life, and then I have projects and teams that I have the pleasure and honor of leading.
yeah, and you're probably doing it, on a day-to-day, just one-on-one interaction, and we don't realize it. And that's why, I posed the question because I really want us to kind of give, give time to reflect and say, something. Anytime I try to meet with someone, I'm trying to pass along the qualities that I've learned because, and you've probably heard that, knowledge is knowing what to do, but
Right.
wisdom is applying what you know to do.
Oh, I
And,
love that.
having a valuable leader tell you and show you the knowledge of what to do to be a better leader, to be a more productive employee and a better family member and a friend. But then having the wisdom to say, I'm going to apply that in my life. I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to live it out. And so that I can be a river, right, and flow it onto others versus this reservoir, which just keeps it inside.
Yes.
And you're doing that. So congratulations and kudos. I didn't expect anything less than that from Kristi. So awesome.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Well,
Yeah.
and I'm also a curious person. I love studying others. And I really believe, if anyone's listening here today, by job title, they're not necessarily a leader. You lead where you are.
Exactly.
And I really love studying. And by that, I don't mean judging. I just mean studying other human behavior. Because
Hmm.
if you really look around, we're all leading in one capacity or another.
We are.
And I love just seeing people shine and get the results because of their hard work and commitment and collaborative spirit.
Yeah, and you hit on a point that we talk about in the book, The Valuable Leader, is that, I've got a best friend for over 50 years in the Bahamas, and she always felt like, well, I may not be a leader because, I'm a home mom. I, take care of the kids, take care of my husband, take care of my home. And I'm like, that is the toughest leadership job there is. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
people sometimes don't feel that they are a leader because there's this, myth, I believe, and I'm out to, dissolve this myth that you have this title of leadership because you're in a position or you own your own company or someone promoted you. No, if you're either leading your life or someone else is, and you're either leading others by making a positive impact and influencing them in a great way. So
Yeah. Well
very
said.
cool. Yeah. Okay. So here's the big one. Look how well you're doing. So, I know that there's going to be a lot of people listening to this, up front, and it's going to last a lifetime. So we're leaving a legacy as well for others that will come behind us. And so I would love for you to, give one big takeaway. If you said, I have this opportunity to speak to people, and it could be one person or it could be 1 million people. What would be this big takeaway that Kristi would say, boy, I would love to be able to share this with you? What would you tell the listeners to
Mm,
help them become better leaders and, more valuable leaders and in their personal and professional life? What would you say?
yes. Yes. I have to go back to probably my roots in health science and my appreciation for how the human body was and is designed and
Hmm.
how we tick. And if I were to go back even to my younger self as a leader, I would encourage myself and I would encourage everyone listening right now to have a strong awareness about your own energy. And when
Mm,
I say energy, I mean your mental energy, your
mm,
emotional energy,
right.
your physical energy, your spiritual energy. That ebbs and flows in a 24-hour cycle.
Hmm.
And when I've had the opportunity to coach people, Velma, when I had my business, I was a wellness coach. And so many of our decisions or inabilities to achieve our goals often came down to lack of energy, whether that be a mental energy or a physical energy. And so the term energy management became very important to me, I would say, especially in the last 10 to 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding at what point in the day for you are you at your best. Everyone has a different biorhythm, right? For example, this 9:30 call that we scheduled today wasn't by chance.
Okay.
My biorhythm is best in the morning, my
Right.
best thinking, my
Mm-hmm.
executive functioning, right? That neofrontal cortex that's alive and sharp is not going to be the same at 9 in the morning compared to 3:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
When I talk about energy, it also equates to setting healthy boundaries,
Mm.
right? If we're feeling spent physically, mentally, emotionally, and maybe even spiritually, we have to ask ourselves, what boundaries might I need to put in place to conserve my
Right.
energy?
Mm-hmm.
And auditing and doing an exercise to really look at where am I spending my time? Why do I feel so depleted? It might
Right.
be more on the emotional, mental side. It may not even necessarily be physical. And so where's that drain starting to occur?
Mm-hmm.
And so for many people, we get ourselves into, we'll say, a low energy drain season, and we don't know how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so why not preemptively or proactively, right? Begin
Right.
to put those healthy boundaries in place and take a moment to assess where am I at today?
Right.
That might even mean pushing off a difficult
Mm-hmm.
conversation
Yep.
or a contentious meeting to a different day,
Right.
because you know that your energy, your battery that day is not positioned well for you to
Right.
handle that meeting or that conversation where you can be at your best.
Yeah. No,
And if
that's
I if I knew that younger,
right.
as a
Right.
younger leader, I would have avoided a lot of emails that should not have been sent. I
Right.
would have avoided a lot of conversations that I had to go back and make
Right.
whole.
Mm-hmm.
And because I wasn't in the right energy place
Right.
to be addressing, and that example, something difficult. So energy management, healthy boundaries, not talked a lot about in leadership. And
Right.
I'd love to continue that conversation because it really can help shape you to be the leader you know you want to be.
Yes, I love it. And there is an acronym that's used. It's called HALT. And I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's how you manage that energy level or that energy management. It's truly applying management to it. And Holt talks about to really in order to make the best decisions, if you are hungry, just
Or hangry.
yeah, hangry. Yeah. If you're hungry, if you're angry, which is the next one, right? You're mad, you're angry, right? If you're lonely or if you're tired, it spells the word halt. And it
Mm,
means just kind of pause, just halt in your position, because your energy level is needed and you're needed somewhere else. You're either needing to refuel your body, from being you're hungry, or you're angry, so you need to kind of just pause and reset your emotions, right?
mm,
That energy level, kind of refilter and say, am I responding or am I reacting, right? And kind of truly get to the bottom of it. That lonely side, if you feel lonely, sometimes you make decisions that
mm.
are not in your best interest because of where you are, right? And then of course tired, when you're tired, you lose patience. I know I do. If I'm
Mhm.
tired and somebody pushes my buttons, I'm like, no, see, this is not a good time. Right, let's just
Yep.
halt.
Yes.
But it's a great little tool that I use when I'm coaching clients to say, how do you set those boundaries?
Yep.
Well, just think of this one word and at least let that be a foundation to get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
But I
I love
love
that.
that. I love energy management. Oh my gosh. I mean, you just like opened up a whole nother conversation, which I would love to have with you and learn more about it as well. Because, again, that goes back to being intentional with how you're going to impact others. And we want to impact them where we're, truly adding value to someone's life. So
Mhm,
love it.
mhm.
Oh,
Thank you for teaching me HALT. So
yeah.
in this leadership chat, I have a great
Well,
takeaway. Thank
you
you.
brought it up. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I should share with Kristi and anyone listening here too, just halt, just apply that. If you're hungry, you're angry, you're lonely, or you're tired, just take that moment to really intentionally manage your energy
Yeah.
so
Yep.
that you could be your best self, be the best version of yourself.
Yep.
And Love it. Love it. Thank you for opening up that conversation. What a
Yes, thank
great
you.
big takeaway. Ooh.
Thank
Oh,
you.
man. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
It has served me well. I continue to
yeah.
grow in that area. I don't have it down and perfected, but if it helps somebody, then that's a wonderful thing.
Well, I tell, when I teach this class, I do a workshop called Kick Your Procrastination into Productivity. And
Mhm.
it's because we have sometimes, we'll have a tendency to procrastinate on things. And one of the things that, I've shared with, and it hits on exactly what you're saying is that, when you try to go down this lane of being perfect, perfection, right? And I'm guilty, guilty of it. Don't want to do it because it's just not right, and it could be better. And high achievers have that. We have that strive, right? It can always be better,
Yep.
but perfection is the enemy of progress
Mm, yep.
because you only are going to learn as you make progress, right? And then you're going to get it better and better and better.
Yes.
So it's something I teach myself.
Yes, I love that. I can add to that in the similar vein of thought. And this is for
Right.
all of the high achievers, slight
Hmm.
perfectionists or bold perfectionists out there. I learned a term at the Global Leadership Summit a few years ago.
Right.
It was Pastor Greg Grunschall. If I'm
Hmm.
pronouncing his name right or wrong, I may be off on the last name, but he taught a term called GETMO.
Getmo. Okay.
GETMO, good enough to move on.
Oh, I love it.
And I have been embracing Getmo a lot more lately, from a place of efficiency, expediency, like to make sure that project gets out. It's good enough to move on.
Right.
And by that, I'm not compromising my values of a product of excellence. But there is a time and place where we can be, what is it, paralysis by analysis.
Right.
And we've got to get this out the door. And
Yeah.
so Getmo, there we go.
I
Couple
love it.
acronyms here today.
What a great teaching moment. I needed that because actually, I've gotten some feedback recently on some stuff and I was like, we're in a learning mode. So great feedback, thank you, but we've got, I love it. It was good enough to move on and
Yeah.
it'll just get better and better. So thank you for that. That's
Yes.
awesome. Okay, so, I'm going to be kind of really leaning into Kristi. So how can listeners like if contact you or learn more about what you're doing to learn some of the things that you post, because I know you post stuff out that are encouraging as well to help people grow and develop. So how would you encourage others to learn more about you, connect with you, follow you?
Thank you, Velma. I'm probably a little bit more below the radar in the terms of the digital space or the digital economy. I am a huge fan of LinkedIn.
Hmm.
I love that platform. No platform is perfect, but I do find being a student of learning, I receive a lot of information on LinkedIn that I find to be very helpful.
Right,
And so
right,
that is the place to connect with me.
right.
This is a great example of boundaries, though. In the last probably 6 to 9 months, I've purposely not been active in terms of my on purpose,
Right.
just being a voyeur for sure, but myself not necessarily engaging. And if you look back at my profile, I've had seasons where it's almost 2 a day where there's something really intriguing to me that I'm getting out there. And so a lot more engagement. But I do love LinkedIn. It is a great way to connect with me. And I would love to continue to expand my network and get to know more people. That's how I grow.
Okay. Hey, thanks so much for watching another episode of Your Leadership Chat. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button here and tap that bell icon so that you never miss another episode. I hope too that you'll give us a thumbs up on the video for a like. And then if you feel led, please share the video with those who need to see it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Your Leadership Chat.